you doing, guys?
Blessed.
Hey man, I'm Officer Vorella. Just know my camera's going okay.
Likewise. 2 cameras actually.
Oh, hi guys. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Hey, would you mind coming over? Can I chat with you guys real quick? Yeah, I think a truck getting out of here will make it a little quieter. Hey, my name's Officer Vorella with the Grants Pass Police. Just so you know, my camera's going okay.
Yep.
Hey, the reason I came over is obviously they called and they said, hey, it was really loud out there. And they're having some trouble working in here in the office. There's a corner office right here where they're inputting patient records and things like that. And they're having a hard time concentrating while doing that. So they wanted to know if you guys would be willing to go across the street, continue doing what you're doing, but across the street would give a little bit of a gap so that it wasn't so noisy in that office. Would you guys be willing to do that?
What we would really like is to practice our freedom of speech right there at that fence.
Sure.
And it would be much quieter.
Sure.
I can guarantee it would be much quieter.
It would be.
But if we have to go across the street,
It'd be even louder.
Get louder.
Yeah.
And so that's not going to help them.
I hear you. So here's the thing. Just with them being in the office right there, they got to be able to work, right? And I totally agree. You guys can you say whatever you want, right? It's your freedom of speech, like you said. But when it disrupts them, that's when it becomes disorderly conduct on our side.
So you're going to make freedom of speech now a disorderly conduct.
No, and freedom to assemble?
Yeah, no, because that's what we're doing.
On a public sidewalk, which
the
it says.
volume that's disrupting them. If that makes sense.
Volume doesn't matter.
So here's the thing. I'm just going to warn you of that, okay? If it continues and they're not able to work in that office, and it's really just this office, on the other side of the building you can't hear anything, and that's why this gap would be sufficient, right? Or even if you stayed here and just lowered it a little bit, that would be sufficient as well. That way it wouldn't disrupt her trying to input patient records and things like that.
Sure.
So just warn you of that.
But there is
and that's all I got.
A SCOTUS ruling on heckling, and so when guys like this come up and get loud around us, you guys should shut him down so that we can exercise our freedom of speech. Noise is not freedom of speech, it's noise.
Okay, is he not with you guys?
Oh no, no.
Okay.
Absolutely
No,
not.
I'm with these guys.
No.
Oh, you are with these guys?
No, he's not.
I am with them.
Okay.
He is not.
Yeah.
He's just out here to harass us. So.
Okay.
And we actually kind of need to get louder when he's playing his stereo right in front of our faces.
I see what you're saying.
So it actually is conflicting with our freedom of speech, and so we have the freedom. We have the First Amendment to preach with our voices. You know, it's where they can hear, and on a public sidewalk, because you understand. So don't need to go across the street.
Another SCOTUS ruling, 1948, Saya versus New York. You cannot permit the amplification of freedom of speech. Okay, and they were applying that to religious speech and political speech, like people running for governor, mayor. They were using amplification, and they said that the mayor, the governor, doesn't have to go to the police and get permission.
Okay.
So it's a ruling by SCOTUS in 1948. It's never been overturned.
That's right here.
We can't.
Okay.
I know you guys want to
make
it
piece,
disorderly conduct.
right? The disorderly conduct stuff.
I get it.
Which if there wasn't someone in that office, you can yell all you want. You're not disrupting anybody.
So here,
things like that.
question I have is, if we preach with just our voices, would there still be a possibility of disorderly conduct here on the public sidewalk?
The only thing that is impacting the disorderly conduct is her being disrupted.
Okay.
And that comes down to the volume, if that makes sense.
So we couldn't just, so if we preach with our voices and they can hear us and they complain, then there's a possibility of a charge of disorderly conduct?
Yes.
Wow.
It's impeding them being able to do their work.
Which is actually the very reason for the First Amendment.
So.
For when it causes annoyance to people, you're protected.
Okay.
Right.
So I'll give you guys my piece. Hopefully you understand where she's coming from, right? So I'm going to get out of here. You guys have any questions?
Yeah, do you know where you stand before God, Officer Vorella?
I'll skip that question.
Oh,
all right, guys.
Well, you won't skip it on the day when you stand before God. What was your badge number, by the way?
63637.
63637, okay. Thank you.